Ah, there you are. Just give us a second. I'm just organizing the mission control that is multi-streaming. Meditation's coming. Just checking. Facebook, dropping the ball as usual. It always takes a while for Facebook to come online. Okay, that's encouraging. Nearly there. One more click and it'll all be sweet. Beautiful. Okay, fantastic. How are you? Going well? Day going well? It's alright if it's not, but I hope it is. I hope your day is going well. We're going to do a bit of meditation now. These meditations are part of the further emergence work I do. I'll explain all about further emergence when we're finished the meditation. So for now, if you're a regular meditator, if you're an experienced meditator, that's brilliant. Can you hang on for a minute though? I just want to explain what I do for the benefit of people who are new to meditation. There's lots of different styles of meditation. This is what I do. For me, it starts with why I would meditate. I'm trying to connect to a part of me that I connect to every night when I sleep. Not the dreaming bit, the bit after dreaming. So I'm dreaming and then I drop at the bottom of dreaming into deep dreamless sleep. That's the bit I'm interested in. Because when I'm there, I've got no thoughts, no memory, no personality, no emotions, no feelings, no memories of being there. I might have said that. I've got no body, I've got no country, house, nothing. I don't even have me because I cease to exist. Certainly the way I normally register my existence. Which, when you put it all like that, it sounds awful. That sounds like death. And yet, I love going to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel refreshed. So some part of me knows that's a good place that I go to. And that's where I want to go to when I meditate. I just want to do it consciously when I meditate. So straight away, if you're new to meditation, don't try this lying down because you'll fall asleep. Or if you don't fall asleep, you'll battle sleep. So sit up. You don't have to sit in a lotus position or anything like that unless you're comfortable doing that. I'm just sitting in a chair. If you're sitting in a chair, make sure it's not a big comfy armchair that you're going to be into the whole battling sleep side of things again. So as I said, I've got no thoughts in this place. It's the sort of place my mind can't seem to get to. It sort of feels like a room or a place that I go to and my mind has to wait outside of the door. So I have to figure out some way of working with my mind, and I like to think of it as sort of parting the curtains of my mind to get in there. So what I do is I just make an arrangement with my mind. I just say, could you just not think for the next 15 minutes, please, because we want to meditate. At this stage, my mind is on board for it. If your mind is not on board for it, you've got to figure out some way to get it on board, that it's okay, that's behind it. And one of the things that you can help your mind with is to give your mind the sorts of things that minds like, which are thoughts, ideas, concepts, that sort of thing. So maybe read some books about meditation or watch some videos about it so that your mind can get around it and get on board. So my mind is on board. Great. Next thing, stop thinking. That's not that hard to actually stop, because regardless of what I'm thinking about, which would be the content of my thoughts, the structure of my thoughts is always the same. It's always pictures and sound. So if I turn off the pictures, I turn off the sound, that's it, I'm not thinking. And then as soon as I do that, I'm into the practice of meditation. And the practice of meditation runs parallel with the intention of meditation. So my intention is to go to this deep, mysterious, calm, still, Zen-like, all those words that I use to describe meditation, go to that place. And then the practice of meditation runs parallel with it. And as I said, it starts as soon as I stop thinking. And it pretty much goes, I'll turn off the pictures, I'll turn off the sounds, I'll stop thinking. Then some time will pass, and I'll discover that I'm thinking again. I go, oh, I'm thinking again. So I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound. I bring myself back to not thinking. Then some more time passes, I discover I'm thinking again. I go, oh, I'm thinking again. turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, bring myself back to not thinking, and so on. That's it. Just repeatedly, every time I discover that I'm thinking, I bring myself back to not thinking. And it's important to know that, because it's easy to get the misconception that to meditate correctly, you shouldn't be thinking at all, which isn't true. These two things go together, the practice and the intention. Sometimes they sort of do a little dance. Sometimes you'll be very deep and still and calm, and that's beautiful. And then other times you'll be discovering that you're thinking, and that's fine as well. Both are powerful. They just are powerful in different ways. When you're in that deep, still, calm place, that's power. That's kind of obviously powerful. You can feel it in your body. Your nervous system is calming down. You feel like maybe you're descending or something like that. Other times, when you're discovering you're thinking, that's powerful as well. It's just not as obvious, the power, because if you're like me, the sort of things that you'll be thinking about are all to do with you. So I'll be thinking, what am I going to do about that thing? Why did I say that to that person? Why did that person say that thing to me? Or whatever, right? So let's say I'm in the middle of meditating and I'm in the middle of one of those thoughts. And then I realize I'm thinking. I go, oh, I'm thinking. So I turn off the pictures, I turn off the sound, I stop thinking, I bring myself back to not thinking. In that instant, what I'm indirectly saying to myself is, you know that thought that you had there an instant ago, that you thought was you and you were it? Well, you just made that thought disappear. You just made it go. So you're not that thought. You're obviously not that thought. In fact, you're not any of your thoughts. You're something else. That's very powerful. And then the fact that you do that repeatedly, that's very powerful as well. So the main thing to get is not to add to your thinking by thinking that you're doing it wrong, or thinking that you're thinking too much, because there's no right amount of or correct amount of times that you should be bringing yourself back from thinking. It'll change. It changes from day to day. It changes from hour to hour in the course of a day. At one time you might have to bring yourself back from thinking a lot, and then another time you mightn't have to do it that much at all. And neither is more, meditative or more correct. The main thing, the overriding thing, is every time you discover that you're thinking, bring yourself back to not thinking, and you'll be doing great. Just keep doing that, you'll be doing great. Now, while all that is going on, I'm also letting go of tension in my body. So I'm scanning my body from my head down to my feet and back up again, very slowly, very gently. Anywhere I find tension, I'm letting it go. And I use my out breaths to let it go, because it's natural to just breathe it away. But then it's also a good way to bring my awareness to my breathing, because it's quite easy to hold your breath in meditation or to stop breathing altogether. So using the out breath is very helpful for that. And the other thing I do is, as I'm scanning my body up and down, I'm paying a little bit more attention to areas in my body that go across, structures in my body that go across my body. Mostly my body runs longitudinally, head to toe. But then anywhere the structures are going across my body, they act a little bit like a log going across a stream. It picks up the leaves and the twigs and the branches and anything that's coming down the stream, except in my body, it's tension. So I'm paying a bit more attention to my eyes, my jaw, my tongue, the base of my neck, my shoulder girdle, all my joints. They're all transverse sides as well. So shoulder, elbow, wrists, fingers, my heart area, my respiratory diaphragm, my intestines, my pelvic floor, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my toes. Having a nice quiet room is very helpful when you're starting out in meditation. Reason being, as soon as you close your eyes, your hearing amplifies. So one of the things that triggers thoughts is noise. So the quieter the room, the more you'll be helping your mind out, not think. And then the other thing I do to help my mind with not thinking is I set a timer for how long I'm going to meditate for. I'm going to set mine for 15 minutes, but I'd encourage you to set yours for 5 minutes if you're new. Set it for 5 minutes and then repeat that 3 times, because 15 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it, even with the timer. So yeah, 5 minutes and then repeat that 3 times. Now, let me just check if there are any questions. Good. All right. Off we go into the mystery. feel like you've gone very deeply inside, then take a bit of time to come back from there before you open your eyes. Or if you feel like you can hold the inner space and the outer space at the same time, then just open your eyes. And if when you do that you feel like you've lost it, you've lost the inner space, you can just close your eyes again. Oh yep, there it is. Open your eyes again. No, gone again. Close it. You can use your eyes like a valve to balance the outer space and inner space. So as I said at the beginning, these daily meditations are part of the further emergence work that I do. Further emergence is to do with growth, inner growth, growth in consciousness. You could call it spiritual growth. When your body is growing, you go from being a child to an adolescent to an adult, and then your body kind of stops growing and switches into something else. But you keep growing on the inside, kind of continues on for the rest of your life. You know, you only have to look back like 10 years and you can see you're a different person. And much like when you were growing in your body, you might have gone through a period of accelerated growth, or what's called a growth spurt. You do the same on the inside, and that continues on for the rest of your life as well. And it's those inner growth spurts, that's really what further emergence is about. It's like you're emerging, but then further emergence is like an extra little push. Because like when you were a kid, going through a growth spurt could be painful and difficult, but not unnatural. It's not like your parents would have brought you to the hospital because you had growing pains, or even to the doctor. They would have just gone, well, it's growing pains, it'll pass. And it's the same. But because these growing pain, because the same kind of thing on the inside goes on, it can be harder to see it as natural, and it can feel like there's something wrong, because it depends on how it sort of shows up inside for you. Sometimes you can feel like everything's going really fast, like you can feel yourself changing really fast on the inside, and that can be, you can start to sort of feel like you don't recognize yourself, or you don't recognize your life. You know, it's like you sort of can feel like you wake up and everything's different to the way it was yesterday. People don't get you the way they used to, and you don't get people the way you used to. So it can feel a bit lonely. Sometimes it can manifest as physical symptoms. You can get physical symptoms that feel like they're sort of putting the pause on your life. And lots of other ways as well. So I've been through it loads of times myself, and I've helped lots of people through it over the years. And these meditations are to help with getting familiar with your inner space, because the more familiar you are with your inner space, the easier it is to navigate these growth spurts. Then there's also a Zoom group every Friday, and that's a chance to meditate a bit more deeply, connect with other people and go, oh, okay, I'm not the only one going through this. There's other people, and there's questions and answers as well. And you can watch those on the videos. There's videos of those on whatever channel you're on. Hang on, someone's asking a question. Does further emergence deal with the significance of life events? Yeah, it does, yeah. In fact, just yesterday we at the Zoom group, that very thing came up. We were talking about it in depth. So that video will probably be out next week. You can have a look at that. Sash. Yeah, so the Zoom groups are great, and then there's a podcast from the Zoom groups as well. The audio from the Zoom groups is a podcast as well. Now you can find all that stuff on the website, furtheremergence.com. What else? Oh, I see people one-to-one as well. And that's a combination of, I like to think of it as behind the scenes and in front of the scenes kind of work. So in front of the scenes we're talking and we're working through it, and there's a period when we stop, the person goes and lies down, I go meditate quite deeply, and I do a sort of energetic work with them at a distance, and that's all helps in the process as well. And there's testimonials from people about how they found that experience as well. And then I have books as well. I have 4 books which are all around this kind of subject of further emergence, because there's a lot of it going on. So if you've watched all the way, if you're still with me, you've watched all the way to the end, maybe that's ringing a bell for you. If it is, follow along on the different channels or go to the website and read more about it, furtheremergence.com. Or just keep meditating with me. I won't be here tomorrow, but I'll be here again on Monday. So thanks for meditating with me, and see you next time for meditation. Bye.